Came from, Pastor Adams. Again to the clerk, yeah, to the council.
You ready? You ready? They went to the refrigerator. Oh, there you is. Yes, Luke. Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to the city council meeting for the city of Ferguson. Meeting is now called to order. Let us stand for a solemn prayer and pledge allegiance to the flag. The pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, Clerk Roberts, could you please call the roll? Here. Excused? Excused? Here.
Here. Here.
Online. He's online. He's not online? Okay. Absent. Okay. We have a quorum present for tonight. We open our meeting with public comments. We ask that you will come to the podium, state your name, your address, speak into the mic. You have 3 minutes. You go over 3 minutes. I will sound the gavel if you continue to talk. I will instruct the city manager to have a police officer to come and escort you out. Clerk Roberts, who's our first person for tonight? Bishop Adam. Senior.
First of all, we'd like to say good evening to everyone. We're here representing
Need your
New Jerusalem.
name
Oh, I'm sorry.
and your address.
Okay. My name is Alonzo Adams Senior, address 11610 Kingsport Drive, Spanish Lake. And again, we are here tonight representing Jerusalem Missionary Baptist Church or Jerusalem Church. We have been in the neighborhood since 1981. We reside at number 1 North Dade on the corner of Dade and Carson Road. And if anyone been in the city long enough, they'll know that that particular spot was a sore eye for the city and for the neighborhood. When we came into the neighborhood, there we purchased that storefront that was there, and on that corner, it was drug trafficking, prostitution, and by the grace of God, we cleared it up. there was a building at 6, 8, 10, 12 that housed the drug dealers and the prostitutes. But by the grace of God, we were able to purchase that building, renovate it, got all of the former tenants out, and we've been working together with the city to try not only to clean up that country, not country, I'm sorry, clean up that corner. Ever since we've been there, and it has been really a struggle. But again, we are here and hope and trust that the proposal that we have at hand would be granted. We need to work more towards our neighborhood, I would say neighborhood cleanup. And our motto is Christian growth through family living. We would love to reach every family, not just on the corner of Dayton, Carson Road, but in the city of Ferguson, Berkeley, Kinloch, and Florissant. We are outreach ministry, and we try to do just that. Be an outreach, be of a value to the city and also for the kingdom of God.
Bishop,
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome.
All right. The clock isn't working, but the Lord got you with this one. Okay, is it working now? All right, who's the next person? Pastor Adams Jr. Now, the Lord worked the first time.
All right, my sermons are usually 45 minutes, so I'll try to do this in 3.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman, City Manager, to all of you all. I appreciate the time. Time is of the essence. We're on the ballot tonight in the
You
dock
need to add-
because, oh, I'm sorry. My name is Alonzo Adams. I'm the pastor of New Jerusalem Church. We are located at number 1 North Dade, Ferguson, Missouri, 135. We are here because we are attempting to acquire the 2 lots that are adjacent to not only the church, which is 815 Carson, but also 17 North Dade, which is adjacent to our parking lot. If you look on your, I gave packets out to everyone. First page, it shows that we have been attempting to acquire these lots since before May of 2018. We were working with Mr. Seawood and Mayor Knowles even back then, and before then. This references conversations that we had prior to this particular email. If you look on the first page, I highlighted just one particular thing. Mr. Seawood had told us in previous conversations in 2018 that he would give us this lot when the house that was destroyed in the Good Friday storm of 2010, but we wouldn't acquire the lot with that house on it. So we told them that they had to do the demolition first. When we finally got it demolition, they didn't clear off the trees and fence that went with the property, which caused a nuisance. It allowed people to go in the back of that lot and dump. And with the Ferguson chaplains, the Ferguson Ministerial Alliance, and the community, they came together and helped us clean that up. Thanks to our city manager, they helped to put barriers up there and put a sign in regards to dumping. But we have been trying to get that lot so that we could keep it together. When that house was destroyed, our grass lot was adjacent and joining. We have been taking care of that lot since 2018 and before, to the tune of roughly $1,000 a year is what we pay to have that lot taken care of. If you go and look, I believe on the last page, we've already paid $2,800 to clear off all of that debris and the tree that was left on that lot. We've already paid to have that removed so that we would be able to see the lot and that we wouldn't have the nuisance that we've had in the past. So I'm asking that you all would please take that into consideration. We would like to and have been keeping up that lot and everything else on that corner. Considering that we've been working on this for the last 8 years plus, I'm hoping that you all will grant us that opportunity. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Pastor. Laverne Mitchell?
Laverne Mitchum, 508 Hunters Ridge Drive. I'll say this real quickly, Pastor. I first met you and Bishop, James Knowles was the mayor. He could not make it to do the declaration for Bishop, so he asked if I could do it, and that's when I first met you all. And I hope you all get these lots that you've been taking care of. I hope you do get them. Good evening, council. As we come to the end of the official Black History Month, many of us do not come to an end of teaching and speaking the truth about Black history. There are intentional efforts in this country right now, as I speak, to whitewash, revise, and erase Black history. During the Civil Rights Movement, many singers, artists, and songs reflected the oppression, inequality, and violent actions against African American people. Also, there were songs to lift up Black people, to express contributions, and also to make it clear that African American people played a vital role in building this country. Abraham Lincoln even said the Civil War would not have been won if it had not been for Black soldiers. It was approximately 180,000 to 200,000 Black soldiers who were in the Union Army. Now, we had a lot of artists to express the Civil Rights Movement. James Brown sang "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud." Nina Simone sang "Young, Gifted, and Black." Sam Cooke said "A Change is Gonna Come." Marvin Gaye sang "What's Happening." Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes and Teddy Pendergrass sang "Wake Up Everybody." There are many of us who are serious about making Ferguson a great city, not a perfect city, but a great city. And what we want is for this to be a safe city, which Chief is doing a good job, a prosperous city, and a city that you choose to live in. What we ask of all of you is to govern in the best interest of the people in our city. That's what we ask. We know you're not perfect. We know you can make mistakes, but what we want you to do at all times, to have in your mind and in your heart, to govern this city in the best interest of the people in our city.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell.
Good evening,
Good evening.
citizens of Ferguson, Madam the Mayor and Council Member, Manager Hampton, and my name is Wendell Phillips Berwick, and I live in Ferguson, Missouri. Usually I get up here and I beef about the consent decree. That's not what I want to talk about tonight. I want to talk about something positive I want to keep from going negative. I brought up here what could be the last issues, or the second or third to last issues of our historic, legendary Ferguson Neighborhood News, which you know the Dorothy Cedar ran it for many years as the Ferguson Times. Let me explain. There was a 400, and this is where the city comes in. We really missed you guys. This not just the ad money, though that could keep us from sinking in the next month or two ahead. But your news, and I suggest that the mayor have that front page, inside the page news, and maybe the city manager, the parks director, Chief Doyle. You guys could take turns writing something. I know it's hard to just sit down and write something, but just hear me out right here. I don't need my notes. I was going up, Bob McGartland's pin oak to trim it. Before I went up, I said, Bob, how's the Ferguson paper coming? This was 14 months ago. He said, Phil, this is gonna be our last issue. I said, what? He goes, yeah, I've been paying in June 200, July 400, August 600. Overruns of printing and distribution costs, not enough ads. I begged him, I said, look, one more paper, I'll go in halves. So I paid $450 to his $450. I leveraged Murford. He's got a whole half page in there, and we've been getting donations. Gary Nadeau said, Phil, let's change it to Friends of the Paper. And there was two sisters from outside Ferguson that gave $1,000 to keep our paper going. And it's been pretty clear sailing until now. Look, journalists love bad news that comes out of Ferguson. We all know that. And this paper, and I'll leave it up here, we need people to sell some ads, New Jerusalem Church. Someone sell an ad for New Jerusalem Church, Baptist Church. I want to put in a plug for these guys after the city of St. Louis insidiously closed Reverend Larry Rice's homeless shelter, 24-hour homeless shelter. They were one of the few churches that opened their doors. They were one of the few churches that let the homeless sleep on their padded pews. I suggest that Dayton, Carson, anyone doesn't have a home church, go there, sit on those pews. You'll feel the anointing. I'm asking you, city, I'm asking you, this is the only good news that comes out. I'm asking you guys, I'm pleading you guys, we need you to chip in your ad this next month, because it could be, I can't keep covering it with Bob. Bob's willing to go 2 more issues. I'm done. I'll have no cash flow the month I'm in Pakistan. I'm gonna leave these here. Can I leave these here?
Yeah.
Out of town, love to come in for support our paper, I found out.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Good evening, citizens. I don't really like
What's your
reading.
address?
709 Adrian Shropshire, 709 Forest Avenue, 63135, from our great city of Ferguson, Missouri. RECA applications. The Radiation Exposure Compensation Act provides a one-time payment to individuals who develop certain illnesses after exposure to radiation from the U.S. nuclear waste, weapon testing, or uranium industry work. Surprisingly, 63135 is on the new list of zip codes. 63134, 63135, and surprisingly, you wouldn't think it, but there are people that are affected by this radiation. So and it's called the Manhattan Project Waste Claimees. Look that up and see if anybody in your family has been affected by that. My next topic this evening is the Ferguson Warming Center on the corner of Stein and West Dorsant Road, and it's at St. Peter's Church. That has been going on now. I've been volunteering now there for the last 3 to 4 years. They invite during the temperatures of 32 degrees or below, They ask the homeless to come in and they can spend the night. They get to wash their clothes. They get to have a good hot meal. And I want to thank the citizens that have been providing food, hot meals. One citizen provided 12 meatloaves. That's a lot. And they were really enjoyed. There's been chicken, there's been ham, there's been all kind of great food that's been donated from our citizens. So if any of the council or any of the citizens would like to volunteer, get in contact with Pastor Josh at St. Peter's Church. And that's on the corner of Stein and West Forsyth Road. Thank you this evening and have a good evening, council.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to Mayor Jones and all the council on the board tonight. Tonight,
Your address, please.
I'm sorry. My address is 930 North Elizabeth Avenue, 63135. Tonight, I want to appeal to the hearts of the council, men and women today. I've been in the childcare business for well over 25 years now. So I am a professional. And I'm in the process right now of receiving my CDA so that my daycare business can be accredited facility. I am not a babysitting service. My daughter and I have owned a childcare facility, a center, for the last 7 years now. We decided to dismantle the center and downsize to a home-based business. Now, again, I'm not a babysitting service, and I want to continue to educate the children, the small children in our community. And so I'm petitioning today to have a childcare in my home. Now, it had been said that there had been some problems with parking on Plantmore Drive. And there was a Zoom meeting that I listened to, and I had been talking to Mr. Nick Kassoff about parking, and he told me that I had his support. And after listening to the Zoom meeting a few days ago, he pulled his support back, and I didn't get the votes that I needed to presume a daycare in my home of 10 children. But like I said, I want to petition for this daycare. But before I do, I want to just kind of show you who I am and what I do. These are some of my children that I have in my daycare. We have graduated out 7 classes into kindergarten, and the parents are still calling me back, thanking me for what I did for their children. And these are just some of the things that we do there. I teach them to read, I teach them to write, I teach them math, I teach them their colors, I teach them to have dignity. And so that when they go to school, they'll be productive little people. And I think that the parking that the board is concerned about is not as big as we may think it is. It's not. I did my due diligence, and I went out on the street of Plantmore, and I spoke with over half of the residents on Plantmore, and none of them seemed to have a problem with me having a daycare there. I do have a petition from
Ma'am.
those residents.
I don't think the clock is working, but I think you've done your 3 minutes. Is it working? Oh, okay. So has she come to her 3 minutes? Ma'am, your 3 minutes are up.
Okay, I do have a petition
Ma'am,
that I want to
your
submit.
3 minutes.
Is that
up.
okay? Yes, ma'am.
Your 3 minutes are up.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. If you have anything you want the council to see, leave it with the city clerk, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mildred Klein, 7444 Castro. Ma'am, I wish I could yield my time to you, but I don't think I'm allowed to, but if I could, I would. Can I?
Mildred Klein, you stated we're listening to you at this point.
So is that a no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So we're coming up on the end of Black History Month. So I just wanted to highlight one of my heroes, Malcolm X. And I'm going to read until my time run out. Malcolm X was a prominent African-American leader and civil rights activist known for his advocacy for Black empowerment and human rights. He became a key figure in the Nation of Islam, promoting a message of self-determination and racial pride. Malcolm X's philosophy evolved over time, particularly after his pilgrimage to Mecca, where he embraced a more inclusive view of race and humanity. His life was cut short at 39 years of age when he was assassinated in 1965, but his legacy continues to influence civil rights movement today. Despite being one of the world's most recognizable activists, Malcolm X was a figure in a constant state of social, intellectual, and spiritual evolution and change. One way that change can be seen is how he identified himself throughout his lifetime. Born Malcolm Little before becoming known as Detroit Red, then Malcolm X, and finally Malik El-Shabazz. He was a person who embodied self-determination and transformation. The museum commemorates Malcolm X's life and legacy, acknowledging the magnitude of his presence and transformative power of his messages. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone next? Do we have anyone online? No, we do a webinar. Thank you. Thus end the public comments. We move to the manager's report. Chief Hampton, do you have a report tonight? City manager.
At this time, I'll bring up, Chief Doyle, Police Department.
Mayor, council, ladies and
Good
gentlemen, good
evening.
evening. Provide you with the report for the police department. Yeah, for this council meeting specifically, I'm going to talk about 2025 or 2024 numbers compared to the 2025 numbers. We're going to talk about Group A and Group B and what that means to you. So, police department used to use UCR numbers, Uniform Crime Reporting System. Those stats are outdated. So now we use what we call the NIBR system, the National Incident Based Reporting System. And to explain the difference is, so with UCR, they only counted one incident as a crime. So let me try to make this make sense to you. So say, for example, you have a burglary. Someone breaks in someone's house, say they punched them in the face, and at the same time, they stole an item out the car. Well, that incident, what they looked at was the main incident, which was the burglary. And that's the only number that was counted. Now what we do is count every incident that's involved in that crime. So what NIBRS does, if you take that same scenario, you have a burglary, but you also have a stealing, and you also have an assault, because it's all part of that incident, if that makes sense. So high level executive summary, and we go into some of the details here. So our total incidents are down like 1,400% for the city, which shows a decrease of 6% for our city. And mainly what we're talking about is crimes that really affect our citizens. We're talking about vandalism, we're talking about car break-ins, auto theft, things of that nature. However, calls for service are up 5,000, or actually up 15%, but 5,000 more calls than we had the previous year. And I'm gonna make that make sense to you here shortly. Obviously, our citations issued, we're up 28%. Issues, warnings issues, we're up 48%. But here's what I want to talk about. So our lethal violence reduction, we're talking about homicides. So we were down 3 homicides in 2025 compared to 2024. So we had less. So we're talking about a 21% decrease. But let's be honest, right? 1 homicide is one too many, right? So those are numbers we definitely have to pay attention to. But what I'm really concerned about is the interpersonal conflicts that are taking place in our city. So we're talking about aggravated assaults. The aggravated assaults were up 68%. When we say aggravated assaults, we're usually talking about assaults that involve some type of weapon, whether it's a gun, a knife, a brick, a rock, a bat, or whatever. That's what we talk about with these numbers. Simple assaults, we literally talking about maybe somebody's pushing somebody or somebody got punched in the face. But again, that's still a concern. And obviously intimidation is what it is. Intimidation, we're up 41%. So understanding the rise of this, like I say, what's driving our numbers is mainly domestic violence. And that hasn't been more evident than what took place in our community over the weekend with Mr. Henry in that situation. It's just a driving force here in our community. Our officers respond, and I don't have the numbers here, but literally every day we're responding to somebody's resident, sometimes 2 and 3 times for different residents for domestic violence. The unfortunate thing that we run into as our community is that even when we offer the services to the victims, oftentimes they either don't follow up on it or for whatever reason refuse it. And sometimes you have to understand it from the victim's perspective, right? Because sometimes you may have a female, for example, living with a male, but if the male is the breadwinner of that residence, the female look at that person as, this is my, this is how we eat, and this is, so they're reluctant sometimes to prosecute and, have that individual taken out the house. Now, obviously on serious cases, we can prosecute on behalf of the state, but oftentimes our victims don't like to cooperate with us. So I also want to talk about the difference between trends and clusters. So this year we had a cluster of violent incidents here recently, but that's not a trend. And it gets a little bit aggravating when people say, well, crime is going rampant. It's going crazy out here. We'll be talking about a cluster of crimes that happen in a short period of time. When we talk about trends, we look at long-term things. We look at things that happen over a long period of time. And that's how we look at it. Again, when you talk about crimes against property, we're talking about the quality of life issues here in Ferguson. So again, as you can see, destruction and vandalisms are down 200 incidents compared to 2024. Thefts from autos are down 102 incidents compared to 2024. Same thing with robberies. However, we've seen an increase in residential burglaries. We had 6 compared to the year before, and shoplifting. Walmart, Walgreens, our retail is the driving of that. But yeah, 16 more than we had the previous year. And thefts from buildings was 27 more than we had in the previous year. Again, the quality of life issues in our neighborhood, vandalism, again, down 200 incidents, 102 incidents with auto or thefts from vehicles, and 15% or 15 incidents less than I got to go back. If you can go back from the Miss Virginia, you can go back a couple slides for me. Right. So we talked about the calls for service in our community. So calls for service, like I said, it increased 18% from 2025. So what that really is telling us is that, so we had 5,000 more calls for service than we did the previous year. And I want you to think about that. If you have the same amount of officers on the street and you have an increase of 5,000 more calls for service, what do they leave us? They leave us with less time to do proactive activity. They leave us less time to do community engagement because literally our officers are going from one call to the next call to the next call. Ultimately, what that does to the police department, it leads to more sick call-ins. It leads to burnout because again, eventually what I'm trying to get to is eventually we as a city need to look at what an increase of officers would mean for our city. Again, it's something that we don't have to discuss tonight, but I think a long-term strategy, we need to look at that. So now we talk about the Group B stuff, and that's 342%. So what that means, this is like officer-driven activity. These are things that officers did, meaning that DWI arrests increase, fugitive arrests increase. So these numbers represent what the officers did. And the biggest driving number of that was fugitive arrests, was up 245%, increased from 40 to 138. So essentially what that means is that our officers are out here doing more proactive work. But as they're stopping people and doing things, they finding more people who are wanted either by our city or by other surrounding municipalities. And that's what that number represents. 105 illegal firearms removed from our community last year. 3% or almost 4% increase from 2024. And again, these guns are guns that were recovered. Either the serial number was scratched off of it, or we stopped someone that was a felon in possession of a firearm. And oftentimes we go to a domestic disturbance where an illegal firearm is found. So that's what that number represents. Big key takeaways, again, as far as quality of life issues, we're down as a city 6% with that. However, I am concerned about the increase with the call volume here because it taxes our officers and it puts a lot of pressure on them. But enforcement activity has also increased with that, with our warnings and citations. Wanted to open it up for any questions you guys may have.
Councilwoman Orr.
I don't have anything, just taking it all in. Thank you.
Councilman Franklin.
Chief, you talked about clusters of violence. I was curious, has the police department identified any active gang activity in the city?
No, so we have loose-knit individuals. I wouldn't even call it a gang. The people, and when I say loose-knit, I'm talking about individuals who may get together and do a rap song or something like that, but you can't necessarily call them a gang, Do we have individuals that form groups like that and commit violent crimes? Absolutely. But since you brought that up, when we talk about the few incidents that we had this year. So the one gentleman, the first homicide we had, gentleman is driving down West Florissant, two individuals walking across the street. He honks his horn. One of the individuals gets upset and pulls out a weapon and shoots that person. I don't know how you police that away. We had another incident. Funeral home. Gentleman gets shot and killed in a neighboring jurisdiction. They had a funeral over here in Ferguson. Members of that group show up at the funeral, disrespect the family that's there. Individuals pull out a gun and start shooting. How you police that? We have a Uber driver who gets a call to drop an individual out to do an illegal deal with another group of individuals. As she show up, these individuals jump out and gunfire erupts. Unfortunately for her, she becomes an innocent victim of that. How you police that? We had an incident this past weekend. Mr. Williams have some type of family dispute. Young lady gets upset, shoots and kills, and his young daughter. How you police that? We had an incident this morning. Young lady standing in a gentleman's house. He gets upset because he wants her to leave. She stabs him to death. What I'm trying to explain to you is that these crimes happen in an instant. Police cannot stop homicides. They cannot stop homicide. This is a cultural thing. People have to want to kill somebody to do that. I can get upset with you today doesn't mean that I want to kill you. You have to have that within you. And it's something that we have to acknowledge in our community, that we have individuals who, for whatever reason, wants to do harm. We cannot, obviously, if you can have a police officer attached to every person in the world, yeah, maybe you can stop a homicide. But I do cringe when I hear police chiefs across the nation that say things like, well, we're gonna reduce the homicide rate by 30%. So just so the sake of using numbers, if you had 10 homicides this year, you say you're gonna reduce it by 30%, that means you're gonna have 3 less homicides next year. Well, tell me what 3 less people that's gonna be. You know, make that make sense. So I say all that to say this, that it's not Ferguson. We have a problem in all our urban communities, especially here, North City, North County, Ferguson, Berkeley, all around us, that this mentality of people who have to resolve every conflict with a gun. I've seen people who got shot because someone stepped on their shoes. Somebody got shot because someone looked at someone's girlfriend the wrong way. It's crazy for us to think of this way, but that's just the society that we're dealing with right now.
Councilman Palmer, do you have any questions? Okay. City Manager.
Yes.
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 I know when we first got here, we talked to a judge about, domestic violence.
Mhm.
Oh, we're still on that program.
We are. In every domestic violence that our officers go to, literature is given out to these victims. We're helping them out. We tell them, you know, how to do the court process. But again, it's a challenge for us because again, a lot of the victims don't want to follow through with it.
Okay, Councilman Palmer.
Chief Doyle, in your time at St. Louis County, did you monitor a lot of crime trends there too, countywide?
Yes.
Generally, does appear to be higher incidents of domestic violence in lower income areas? Like if you mapped it with St. Louis County wide, is it most of it on the northern side of St. Louis County?
Well, let me say this. When my years with St. Louis County, I mean, every community dealt with domestic violence. However, we see a higher concentration of more violent domestic violence this year in our communities.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question for Chief Doyle? You're doing a phenomenal job,
Okay. Appreciate it.
you and your officers.
Thank you.
And we hope and pray that you all continue to be safe,
Thank you.
continue to be safe. And we appreciate that, the fact that you're bringing these people to justice.
Yes.
Just as fast as they commit the crime, you all apprehend them.
Yeah, and I can add one more thing to that. I'm glad you brought that up. So our clearance rate for homicides last year were over 90%. Our clearance rate for homicides this year, even as of today, is 100%. So while we can't, you know, that's just, while we can't prevent every homicide from happening, when they do happen, that our city can take comfort in knowing that there's a high chance that it's going to be solved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Manager. Thus, in the City Manager report, we don't have a special presentation. We don't have public hearing. We move to the consent agenda. For boards and commission, we have 2 meeting minutes for planning and zoning, 11/5/25 and 2/5/26 for planning and zoning. I'm requesting a motion in a second to receive and file the minutes for planning and zoning.
So move.
Second, Aquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We don't have any appointments for tonight. We don't have any requests, proclamations, no resolutions. We move to the bills for the second reading. Bill number 7331 for 81-5 Carson Road and 17 North Dade Avenue. I'm requesting a motion and second to place bill number 7331 upon its passage.
So move.
Second, Aquita Noah.
Attorney Ryan, could you please read the bill?
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance authorizing the city manager of the city of Ferguson, Missouri to enter into and execute an agreement regarding the transfer of city-owned property to the adjacent owner, New Jerusalem Church.
City Manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, again, this goes back before us, 2018. I do remember when this was being brought up. Elliott and Justin was around, I believe. We're just trying to clean up loose ends. This and the one that was on play at one point. And they already paid for the survey to have it done. So we're not out of any money, And so I think this would be a good one.
Okay, Councilman Palmer.
I guess my question for staff would be, the property on Dade, we did recently demolish that home. Is that correct? In the last 5 years?
I think it might have been around 2018.
Do we know what the cost associated with that demolition was and if we received paid for that?
I do not know it. Not that one. Yeah, it was not that one.
And then Carson was demolished further longer before that, probably 16 or 17 years ago, from what I understand. Do we know if the city, had any kind of cost associated with the demolition of that
I believe
property?
it was that one may have been covered by the insurance. There was a statute that did so much money on the house that is damaged. I believe we did cover that on that one. I can get you the exact figure on
Yeah,
that.
I'd be curious what the associated costs were with specifically the demolition of the properties on both those properties. If we actually paid for it, I'm pretty sure we did on Dade. I don't know about Carson. From what I looked at on the county records, it appeared that Carson, their house was there probably over a decade ago. The one on Dade, I believe, was more recent. There was a tree, I think, within the house that it fell on at one point, and then I guess the city took the house down. That information would be helpful to understand.
Okay, anyone else? Clerk Roberts, could you please call the roll?
Aye.
Aye.
They're not here, you don't have to call them. Aye.
Abstain?
Oh, so like,
Is he on?
There you
Okay. What is it, what is your vote? I didn't see it. Okay, got it. We have 4 yes, 1 abstain. Bill number 7331 passes. We move on. Y'all want to be here at 11 o'clock tonight? Keep clapping. All right, we move to bill number 7333. I request a motion a second to place bill number 7333 up on this passage.
So moved.
Second, Aquita Noah.
Attorney Ryan, could you please read the bill?
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, amending the zoning code and map to change the existing zoning code of certain property from R1D Single Family Residence District to C1 General Commercial District.
City manager?
yes, Mayor, Council, again, this is cleaning up since of the past. This place is already in business. We're just now, we went through the whole process, make sure it's correct.
Councilman Palmer?
In the past, we voted on a piece of legislation relative to this property, didn't we?
Yeah. It was a while back and it was unanimous, I believe it was because we've been SUP, I believe, for my correct
I remember that.
on this. And then we just did one last. Was it last meeting? Virginia?
Councilman Franklin?
Yeah, this was last spring. I was on, well, it was early last spring. I wasn't on council, but they went through planning and zoning. We made the recommendation to approve, and then it came before council, and you guys voted unanimously to, give them their special use permit at that time.
So if they have a special use permit to operate a daycare, why does the zoning have to change?
Cause it was not, you know what, I've not been with this project. This is the day, obviously a conference, but sure.
So I think I can speak to it a little bit. So it looks like it wasn't zoned properly when you guys passed it. So like it was zoned still for residential use, not commercial use.
Mhm.
And so, it got switched over to C1. I guess based off our zoning code. I'm just assuming, I'm not the expert, but.
Yeah, my understanding is from Dave is we're cleaning up the zoning for the SUP.
Okay.
Yep, you can take.
Yeah, so this is currently zoned residential, this is permanent in error, it's not a residence, it's simply a daycare.
Yeah.
So it's in operation, there's a public hearing for the rezoning last January 2025. Council never.
So what, we also have had a different special use permit for a home-based daycare. Is it, what changes it? Will that applicant at some point need to change their property to commercially zone? What threshold, what causes that zoning requirement change?
So for this lot. So they will need to get another special use permit for this lot after we do the rezone.
I guess what I'm curious is if they already have permission to operate a childcare facility, why are we doing a zoning change if we haven't changed zoning on any other childcare facility in a residential district?
So it should not be operating, plain and simple, as it is now, it's operating, against the.
So the council made a mistake. It was it's residential, but they're not living. So even though you can have an in-home residential daycare, they're not living in this home. So it's being run like a commercial property, which is why he's saying we need to change the zoning. So that's the difference. They're not living there. So if somebody has a live-in daycare and they move out and they want to continue to operate that daycare, then I would imagine they'd have to get it rezoned, or if we would even consider rezoning. But I think that's what he's saying. You guys approved it, and
We
they
did.
were never living there. So it's just a mistake that we're cleaning up.
So when we approved it, the special use permit, were we under the impression there was less children going to be there? Or do we know it was going to be a commercial operation?
It's going to be commercial. We knew.
Yeah, they presented and showed us the lay of the land, so we do, they weren't occupying the space. But errors happen, unfortunately.
So is this the property that they had started building their daycare before they even came to planning and zoning?
No.
I can't speak to that, I'm not sure. Like I said, I wasn't on council at that time.
Okay.
I just know when they presented to planning and zoning, so.
I guess my question would be, what's staff's perspective on spot zoning?
So it's problematic. Like you're faced with the choice of either spot zoning or leaving it zoned as is, but then we're faced with, having business operating there. So, council could, condition the ordinance or voting use to this daycare potentially.
Yeah, and I also know council has been kicking around the whole idea about the home daycares and no longer allowing this practice to exist. To buy a house and not to have, remember correctly, in that, when you guys are talking about doing the home daycares over, about having to be a resident of that house. So this actually, we would be shutting down a business essentially if we do not pass this, correct? But, or that or she is gonna be operating, without, outside our zone. Even with this.
So I guess my next question would become, let's say we approve this zoning change and this current daycare continues to operate for 1, 2, 3 years. If that daycare were to close, what would stop somebody from opening any other C1 commercially zoned permitted use, such as a towing yard, out of that property? Or a convenience store?
Yeah, you're correct that could happen through some.
I guess the council would always be able to stop it, right?
It'd be permitted by right.
It'd be permitted.
Okay.
Once it was zoned that way. Council can rezone it when the business closes. Again.
Okay.
It's really too bad. Because of the state of the past. It was the planning and development director 2 iterations ago who has issued a special use permit for them to operate. Who advised them to apply for a special use permit to operate the again, should it rezone it because it's in a residential district, and it's not a residence. So, again, you know, it's two non-ideal options.
Is there a way to amend the bill that it's allowed to operate as C1, but on the condition it's only childcare?
To me, that's not you guys can change that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be advisable, yeah. So that when the childcare business closes, either another one in or go back to residential.
It would be C1, but on the condition that can only be childcare. It couldn't become a convenience store, or there's a whole lot of things that are permitted in C1, a lot of things you definitely don't want in a residential setting. Okay. I would like to make a motion to amend the,
Before you do that, we do have a motion on the floor. It has been properly moved and second, is that not correct?
It has.
Then that motion has to be withdrawn in order for you to make a motion.
Yeah, I'll withdraw it.
So the motion is withdrawn.
I'll second it.
Okay, you're withdrawing the first motion. Now you making the motion to amend.
correct. I'd like to make a motion to amend bill number 7333 to allow for the residentially zoned R1D zoned commercial or property to be rezoned as C1 general commercial district on the condition that it's only permitted to be a daycare and no other use.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, then it goes, we amended tonight, so on March 10th, we amend this bill tonight, so on March 10th, it has to be read as the amended bill.
Gotcha.
Okay, we got it? He's amended bill number 7333 tonight, so we can't vote on it. We vote to amend it, and now we gotta take it to March the 10th to be read.
Mayor Jones.
Yes,
There are instances, city attorney, where if it's an incidental change or something insignificant, it can be still voted on in that. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, but I would say that's a parliamentarian question, which is not something the city attorney is allowed to.
Okay, Clerk Roberts, would this be considered to you to be a minor change to the bill? Or would this be a significant change to the bill that requires to prevent us from reading it a second time until March?
she does. We can amend the bill and read it tonight. Let's do it that way, okay? The bill has been amended. It has been properly moved in second and amended, since it's just a minor change to the bill. Now we put a motion on the floor to read the amended bill and pass it. Correct. Okay,
Okay, so move. I'll make a motion to read the amended bill and get it passed.
is there a second?
I second.
Clerk Roberts, please call the roll. Before you do that, city attorney, could you please read the amended bill to add only childcare?
Yes, ma'am. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, amending the zoning code and map to change the existing zoning of certain property from R1D Single Family Residence District to C1 General Commercial District, subject to amendments limiting such use to family daycare.
Okay. It has been properly moved in second. Clerk Roberts, please call the roll.
Aye.
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 Not to be a stickler, but it's not family daycare, it's a commercial daycare.
Apologies, commercial daycare. Thank you, Councilman.
Aye.
Can't hear him telling me he said a thumbs up, aye. Bill number 7333 has been amended and passed. At this time, do we have any unfinished business? Councilwoman Orr.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. This is for the city manager. City manager, of course, not tonight, but at the next meeting possibly or soon. Can we get an update on the list of the improvements, the street list? Because I'm curious about Wyland Court.
Yeah, so Corey has a whole presentation to show the breakdown on the beach ward, you know, how much is spent in each ward, how much has been spent in each ward since 2022. And then he'll also go into what it's gonna be spent this year in each ward as well. Okay? Does that answer?
No, well, it does. It's just that Wyland Court was on that improvement list and I was
Yeah,
just
and
curious
that's
about
for
that
the-
street.
so that's for the asphalt, that's not for the street concrete
Okay.
subsurface. And no asphalt works being done during this weather.
Okay, okay, so it's
That
coming,
comes
it's
in the
just not,
spring,
okay,
when it's warmer.
thank you.
Huh?
Any other unfinished business, any other old business? We move to new business. Do we have any new business? Any new? None. Miscellaneous. Councilwoman Noah.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everyone who attended the Southwest meeting last night at True Vine Missionary Baptist Church. It was very productive and informative. Thank you, staff, and we will have another meeting in March, the fourth Monday in March. Usually Southwest meets quarterly, but we're going to have a meeting next month, and then after that, we will resume the quarterly meetings. Nesbitt Newton meeting is tomorrow at Ferguson Empowerment Center at 6 p.m. Everyone who wants to come out, please come. Staff, you're more than welcome. The Forest Wood Neighborhood Association will meet the first Tuesday in March at Emmaus Bible Chapel at 7 p.m., 900 Highmont at Hornet. The Ferguson Human Rights Commission, in collaboration with Proud and St. Stephen's and the Vine, will host our second community meal together on Sunday, March 15th from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. All are welcome. And last night at the Southwest meeting, there was some concern from just a couple residents. There were about 7 people there, but just a couple residents. City manager, this is to you. And I am glad that Corey will be presenting because there's a concern about Hearn, Grove, Elsie, and Etna. And I explained that I would mention that tonight. And I just, again, want to, thank staff for coming out. And there's a lot going on in our city. There is, and domestic violence, mental health, it's just a lot. But I would like to end my miscellaneous for Black History Month by stating and quoting Malcolm X and saying that we need more light about each other. Light creates understanding, understanding creates love, love creates patience, and patience creates unity. Thank you all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Noah. Councilman Franklin,
Nothing tonight.
Councilman Palmer,
Nothing.
City Clerk Roberts, Community Developer, Attorney Ryan, City Manager.
Yes, I just got a few things. First off, we're planning the Ferguson Twilight Run. I believe Dwayne James will be in next council meeting to go over a little bit of the Twilight Run. I know planning's already started. There will also be a smoke detector drive starting on April 11th in Ward 2, and I'll let the mayor talk a little bit more on that. And then also, Mayor, I'll let you talk about the event that we're gonna have on the 13th as well. But with all that, again, the level of professionalism our police department is displaying is amazing.
Thank you, CM Hampton. Mark your calendars on Friday, March the 13th at 2:00 p.m. at the 501 Plaza. We will be receiving from Congressman Wesley Bell a check for $1 million for the improvement of the 501 Plaza from his community project fund. 2:00, Friday, March the 13th at 2:00 at Plaza 501. If it rains, we will come to the council area. On April the 11th, we're doing our smoke detector day in Ward 3 with Christian Hospital and American Red Cross. Chief Hampton will give us further instructions, and we are looking at work from 10 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock p.m. And we will have volunteers from Christian Hospital and American Red Cross. And while we were in the meeting last week, it was brought up about one of the smoke detectors event we had. And in Nesbitt Newton, we put the smoke detector in on that Saturday, and that Sunday it was a fire. And it was the smoke detector that warned the people, and they were able to get out the house. However, Red Cross still have that smoke detector. And that is something phenomenal, how the work that we do here in Ferguson still save lives. On Thursday, there will be a discussion at Catering for You about the state of North County by NCI, and I am one of the panelists. So it will start at 11 o'clock, and I will be talking about everything positive about Ferguson. So it's at 11 o'clock. At this time, I am going to request David, Councilman Williams. At this time, can we hear him? Councilman Williams. Is he muted? He say he is muted. He has his hand up. Yeah, call him. Oh, okay. Friday, March 13th at 2 o'clock p.m. at the 501 Plaza. We will receive a check for $1 million from Congressman Bell from his Community Project Fund for the improvement of the 501 Plaza. On April the 11th, we have the smoke detector day, and it will be in Ward 2. Ward 2 with Christian Hospital and the American Red Cross, along with the fire department and the police department. And we will start at 10 o'clock, end at 3 o'clock, and we will meet at the fire department. On this Thursday at Catering for You, we are, NCI is having a panel discussion about North County, and it starts at 11 o'clock. And I'm on the panel, and I'll be talking about everything positive about the city of Ferguson. On March the 4th, the Monitor is having a town hall, and I think it's via Zoom. Did you get him?
Yeah, I'm gonna put him up to the speaker so you can hear him.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So what I wanted to say for the young lady with the home daycare, I actually did walk the street and talk to some neighbors. I voted yes either way, but they are saying it's a parking issue with parents waiting for the bus for pickup and drop off. So the 4 people that actually voted no can bring that bill back up. I think so far Nick Kassoff vote can be turned into a yes. If some type of driveway or parking pad is initiated. And my thing is that could be expensive, but maybe we can get something on paper that's done within the next 60 or 90 days. So it wouldn't cause you a financial burden. And the last thing I wanted to say, when we get these texts from city council, when it's a domestic violence, a homicide, we get those texts. And sometimes they can kind of be discouraging or depressing. So when you see a police officer or first responder, just say thank you. What a lot of people don't realize, first responders and police officers, they have a high rate of suicides. Imagine you're doing your job and it's 3 murders that night and you're actually going and you see the dead body. You see them put it in the ambulance or you try to give that person CPR. That weighs heavy on you. The mental capacity is not made to see that on a daily basis every day. So, I know a lot of times when we see a police officer, we think of a ticket or, something negative. But if you see them around, especially the community policing, just say thank you. First responders as well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And on March the 5th, Miss Norma Snowden and a lot of the community members will be having a luncheon for the public works guys for doing such a phenomenal job doing the snow. And so the luncheon will be at 11 o'clock and it will be at the garage. So please get in touch with Norma Snowden if you want to contribute to that. And I would like to say, Councilman Palmer, you were correct. You were correct. When we do a minor change to a bill, we can amend it and vote on it. So you don't have to go on Facebook and debate it. It was correct. All right. I request a
So moved.
motion I request a motion and a second to adjourn.
So move, Naquita Noah.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Have a good night.